Starfox Adventures. I only keep it because, well, it's in my house now, and I have it as part of my collection. The game is so easy that you can find 100% of the game just by just wandering around and stumbling into all the secrets. So, there you go. It doesn't even tell you about the final boss either. It's just like, yep, and do this and watch the ending of the game. You big fat liar. Hold on, here it is. Walk due east towards the glowing panel and press the A button to release the final Krazoa spirit. End of guide. Doesn't even tell you there's a final boss. Ah, yes. Super Mario Sunshine. If it were not for this, I would have not made it through the entire game. Do you see those X's? I don't know if I can show you that where, but they see the X's in the boxes there? Every time I got myself a red key or a star, I would literally just cross it off in the game guide. There's just so much stuff in this game that you could just completely miss, that you almost need a game guide to figure it out. On the bright side, the maps really, this is the map you get, and here's the tips that you get. The rest you're gonna have to figure out how to get through on your own. So the map section isn't really that helpful. So as an overall book to get through the game, not so much, but to get 100%, pretty useful. Like its predecessor, I don't really know why I bought this, just maybe for 100% and collecting stamps and stuff, but Super Smash Bros. Melee. I really don't have much to say about this one. It's kind of cool. Yes. One of the few guides that I have. Harvest Moon Magical Melody. Speaking of which, I have the other guide in the next room. I probably should have revealed that. I can't, unless I want to get up and then come back, which I probably might have to do. But Harvest Moon Magical Melody, this one was actually pretty invaluable, but as a guide as a whole on how to do things, look at that wall of text. Basic reading skills required for full enjoyment. It's not the best guide. There's actually quite a few inaccuracies in this guide, including where's that map? There's like a map of the entire town, and half the areas that it points out is not even. Look at that. Okay, here's what I was talking about. Here's the map, and then they have numbers and call-out numbers, and here's what the numbers represent. They don't match up at all, not one bit. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with the other guide that I have in the next room. I can't believe I totally forgot it. Back. Alright, as I said, Harvest Moon Animal Parade. This is the only other Harvest Moon game guide book I have. This one is a huge step up from the previous one. It walks through step by step each of the major events you need to complete the game, and then goes step by step for all the minor events as well. Then it goes through each of the characters, all their likes, dislikes, their schedules, their major heart events, everything. I mean, everything you could possibly want to know about this game, it's in here. And there's only one mistake. One mistake in this entire guide, and it was my wife that found it. See, and I can't even find it. My goodness, and I know it's in here. Here it is. For anybody who's played the game, that is not Craig. Not Craig at all. In fact, I forgot what his name was, but Craig is actually Ruth's husband. I don't know who this guy is, but he's the father of Rune. He doesn't actually have an entry in this entire game guide. Craig does, but they put his picture in. Ha! So funny. Legend of Zelda, the Windwaker. I might actually have to reference this again because I've forgotten a lot about this game in the short time that have been away from it. But this is a very good game guide, very exhaustive, very in-depth, and then just for kicks and giggles at the very end, it has an Ocarina of Time miniature game guide at the end. So very good. And I even have I tore it out, which I should not have, actually. I feel very bad about that. But I even have a huge map of the ocean and a listing of every single island out there on the Great Sea, which came with the strategy guide. I still have all that. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. This, if you want to understand how this game works and to truly exploit it to its utmost potential, you will need this guide. You will need to know this is like the most important section of the entire book right here. For each of the cycles in each of the areas, it tells you how many points you're going to need to at least have a chance of getting the artifacts on the right side. So if you're looking for a specific artifact, you'll be like, okay, I need this many points on this cycle. So, very helpful. I would highly recommend this for anybody who wants to play this game either solo or with a friend. And if you're going to do it with a friend, you're going to need to spend a lot of cash, because you're going to need like Game Boy Advances and Game Boy Advance connectors and so much more than it's really worth. Mega Man X Command Mission. I don't care what anyone says, I really liked this game. And this book, I think, helped me out a lot. Not so much in trying to get through the game proper itself, but as you can see here, I've actually highlighted in green, right here, and right there. I've actually went through the whole enemy bestiary and found all the best drops and things like that. I actually scoured through the appendices to exploit this game to its absolute fullest when I went through it. So, very cool game guide. Okay, anybody who's ever played the Tales game that has just catapulted its popularity in the stateside would have this game guide. Tales of Symphonia. Beautiful, very crisp colors and everything. Goes through step by step every single section you have to go through in the entire game. And I think it actually does a pretty good job telling you how to get to all the extra quests and bonuses and things like that. It even tells you extra things you can do even after you've beaten the game. Cool stuff. One of the best game guides I've actually had to use. Every time I play this game, I have this by my side, just so I don't miss anything. Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. I love this game. I love it to death. I've only played through it twice, but I love it to death. And this game guide tells you exactly how to get everything. This was actually one of the last few Nintendo Power game guides. They knew how to make game guides. I'm sorry, Prima, you do good jobs. Brady Games, you do good jobs. But Nintendo Power knew how to make a game guide. They knew what exactly the player would be looking for, how to get help in a flash. Again, it's got those number callouts. They got the full maps with number callouts where you can actually go look up the number and figure out the strategy you need for that area. Nintendo Power was the king of game guides, and this is one of the best. This one is interesting. This one, I actually got the PDF file online. They only released an online PDF of a game guide. Xseed did. But that was it. There was no hard copy, no nothing. So I took it upon myself to go print up Rune Factory, Frontier. Print up my own game guide from the PDF file. It's all black and white because I didn't want to spend a fortune trying to print it in color. But it's not the best game guide. It's actually, there's a lot of stuff that's missing in it, but it's decent for what it's worth. And besides the fact you can't lose because they gave it the PDF file online for free. So I actually just took the extra money in my pocket. I think it was like $15 or something, and printed up this game guide black and white. So an extra one that most people may not have in their collection. Okay, moving on to Game Boy Advance. Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age. Like Dark Cloud, I have not played this. I have not played either game. So when I finally get a chance to figure out how to link up my Game Boy Advance to start recording play series off my Game Boy Advance games, I will be going through this blind. And I don't really want to use this right away, but if I have to, if I'm stuck, I will. This is definitely something that I'll be using after I beat the game for the first time, both of them, to get 100%. Sword of Mana. If you want to just beat the game, you're not going to need this book. But if you want to find every single stupid random number generated drop to get all those extra super powered items by the end of the game, this book's invaluable. It's got nice colored maps though. Look at all those pretty maps. Another one of those awesome Nintendo Power Guides. Not really needed, but Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Dawn of Souls. Good guide. It's got maps galore. You can't go wrong with Nintendo Power strategy guides. Never did beat Final Fantasy 2, even on the Game Boy Advance version. I think I've only got up, how far have I gotten? Hold on. I can even tell you how far I got. Cave of Mysidia. Cave of Mysidia. That's about as far as I got in the game of Final Fantasy 2. Beat the first one though. Beat Chaos. It wasn't so bad. Final Fantasy 5. This is the one that they pushed out the door with the Game Boy Advance version. I have not beaten Final Fantasy 5. I have not. And I think as far as I went, Island Shrine. And I think it was for one enemy and one enemy only. Let me see. Taut Avius. The Taut Avius enemy found in the Island Shrine is what pretty much stopped me stone cold from beating Final Fantasy V. 33,090 hit points. The boss of the dungeon is 20,000 hit points. A normal enemy is stronger than the flippin' boss, and it just decimated my whole party. Great guide though. Helped me all the way through up to that point. Okay, for anybody who's played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, this is your tomb. And tomb, I mean T-O-M-E. This has everything you could ever want to know about Final Fantasy Tactics. Have I beaten this game? No. Have I gotten pretty darn far in beating this game? Yes. I can even tell you where I've got. It's... what is it? Somewhere in here. Ambervale, over the hill. This is about as far as I got. Mission 22 to 23. And, is there anything left? Really? Mission 20... that's it? I only had one more to go? I better go beat this game now. I'm so close to the end. Oh my gosh. I didn't know I was that close. But yeah, those are all my Game Boy Advance strategy guides. So we're going to move on to the next one in line, which would be Nintendo 64. I don't have as many game guides for this, because not a lot of good games came out for the system, which is unfortunate.